main disadvantage of waterfall model is product is released only after completion. That is, the complete product is built and then the release is done. Second, testing is done at the very fag end. So what happens? Any defects that is found here is very expensive to fix compared to finding defects at a very early age, or any gap that you find. It is very difficult to fix. No, in waterfall model, no. We do the testing.
There are any way that we
no. Waterfall.
So there is no way to do the testing after the design or building.
No, in waterfall model, no. So in order to overcome these, releasing the product at a very releasing the product after completion was not a major disadvantage, but testing at the very fag end was a major disadvantage in waterfall model, right? The advantage of waterfall model is this one: testing at the very fag end. So what happens if you have a product that has a issue or a wrong design? Then the whole product is gone. So when do you see this issue? This issue is seen only at the testing phase. So are you going to go back the whole thing and go and tell the stakeholder that whatever you have done till today is not the right one? So this is a major disadvantage in waterfall model. So in order to overcome that disadvantage, another model was developed. In this model, what we did here is the phases are the same: requirement gathering. In requirement gathering, after requirement gathering, the design phase was split into functional specification and high level design. Okay, it's the same. Now these three again is your design phase. Okay, we just wrote it in three different blocks, and then we have the code. So what we did, this is the key portion where we needed testing, right? Where we will identify if there is an issue or not. So what we did, we changed the testing methodology to add testing at individual layers. So at requirement phase, we did user acceptance testing. At functional specification, we did system testing. Or functional testing. At high level design, we did integration testing. At detailed design, they do unit testing. And then they start building the code. So testing is done at each and every phase here, right, in this model. Now here if you see the waterfall model, the V model, software development this is your software development life cycle. And this is your software test life cycle. You see here how the software test life cycle changed based on the model. In the previous model, we had only testing done after the code portion here. But in V model, the software testing life cycle changed based on the development life cycle, where we introduce testing at different levels, right? And this model, since it's a V form, we call this a V model. That's the reason we call this a V model. Now coming back to the V model, right? Let me go back. Can anyone tell me how do I do user acceptance testing? What is user or acceptance testing? We saw that in today's class. What are the two types? Yes.
It's the alpha and beta.
Yeah, alpha and beta. Yeah. Now, can you guess how do I do acceptance testing at requirement gathering?
I don't really know. I guess.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
Maybe we do the beta testing, like if
small number of people to test the requirement if that's what they're
gathering pay, you don't even have the application. How are you going to ask the customer to test it? It's all in papers, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to ask the customer to test it?
In the requirement stage, we will evaluate whether the system is compatible with the business requirements or not, right? So that's what whether it's
acceptance testing. Acceptance testing is it's done by the client, right, or the customer. So let's make it a little more easier. We'll do alpha testing, only alpha testing in acceptance testing when during the requirement gathering. So how do you do alpha testing then?
I did not hear that alpha and beta. As far as I only heard about user acceptance. So whether it is meeting the business requirements or not, that's what we test.
How do you test? How do you show the client that it means that what he wants and the application meets the requirement?
That's why we do the testing.
How?
Whether or not it's.
How? That's my question. Okay, wait, hold on.
Data, no.
What data?
I mean about the requirements.
Yeah, I have the data with me. But how do I show the customer?
Yeah, from the data we can, write the use cases or test cases.
No, are you going to write your test cases and show him the test case? No, you're not going to show him the test case. How will the customer understand seeing the test case, how his application is going to look like? Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Can we show the client some identical program which he has done before?
No, say
something like
example,
that?
you want to design an email application, you're going to go and show him a Gmail application? No. No, you're not going to do that.
No.
Okay. Let's see.
Maybe design. Show them the design, how one plan to.
Yeah, you are close. Very close.
Yeah, just taking into account the requirement and then they can design and they take them and walk through like how it's going to be and
yes,
something like that.
Let me explain that. Very close, Chitra, very close. Okay, let me explain. Good job. So what they do is, say example, you wanted to buy a apartment in Delhi. Okay, say you want to buy an apartment in Delhi, right? The apartment is still not constructed. How will they show you the apartment?
Floor plans.
They'll show you the floor plan. They'll show you a prototype.
Yeah.
A model.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they will show you a software where you can. They will show you how the inside of the inside of the apartment would look like, where the kitchen is, where the bedroom is, where the bathroom is. Everything he will show you like a 3D view, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see that and you say, then when you see that, you will say, no, I want that shelf that is here to be a little more this side. So you will change the design based on that. So there is no apartment as such, correct?
Yes, correct.
Right. Now imagine he's not showing you anything. Now when you come and see the original apartment and you feel that, the shelf as per shelf that was here should have been on the other side, which would have given you more comfort when you put your bed there.
Yeah.
At that point, breaking the whole shelf and shifting it to the other wall and repainting the wall will be very expensive, correct?
Correct.
Correct. So that is the reason he will show you a prototype of how first he will show you a model of how the outer apartment will look like. Then he will show you the floor plan. Then he will show you how the interior of the apartment would look like for you to decide, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, in application, what we will do is we'll take that requirement and create a prototype. Okay. Now the prototype will not have every feature that is there. Say example, I'm creating a prototype of an email application where the customer is not going to do a test of sending a mail. You cannot send a mail.
Mm-hmm.
It will be all hard-coded information. Say like, you'll log in, we will tell him that, this is how your launch page is going to be. Here is where your login information is going to be. When you put your login information, submit, your home page will come. This is your inbox page. You will have sent item, all these aligned at this corner. Or he will see how the structure will look like. He's not going to see how the look and feel of it.
Yeah.
So that walkthrough will give him an understanding. He will say, no, wait, hold on. I wanted the logout not on the right. I want the left. I want the logout on the right side. So he will have a picture of what he's going to see when the application is going to come out. Correct?
Correct.
Correct, Chitra?
Correct.
That is what is alpha testing, correct? When the customer is checking out the application.
Yeah. Yes.
That is what we will do in our user acceptance testing. We will, during our requirement phase, we will do the user acceptance testing.
I missed the alpha and beta portion of the testing, but as far as I understood, when we are doing the user acceptance testing at the requirement stage, we do the alpha testing only, right?
Yes, we do only alpha testing, where the customer is going to give a walkthrough. So the client will see how the product will look like. Not the full-fledged product, but at least where, say, example, you're buying as I told Chitra, you're buying your apartment, you'll know where the shelves are, which angle the kitchen is, where you're going to place your where you're going to place your gas. All that information on a rough idea you will know. Correct? That is what
we call it
alpha
as a
testing
prototype also, right? We can even call that as a prototype also.
Yes, that is called as a prototype. During acceptance testing, we will show the prototype to the customer. You getting me, Monica?
Yeah. There was a breakage in middle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to say that do we build a prototype and show it to the client, and then is that the
Yes.
Exactly. That's why I just lowered my hand because I heard you say that.
Yes, exactly how the builder will show you the apartment. Similarly, we'll show him the prototype.
Prototype, yeah.
But the builder will show the color and all, right? But here we don't show the coloring, everything. Look and feel won't be there. It's only just where the data is going to be displayed. That's all.
Okay.
At the time of requirement stage, are we able to show the design like prototype?
Yes.
We are still at the requirement stage, right? At the requirement stage, we only gather the requirements, what we need to develop the product.
Correct. Now, when gather the requirement, say example, if you want to design an email application, right? As the developer, as the BA gathers the requirement, the BA knows what are the functionalities that has to be there in an email application. So when the BA is working on the functionality, we will have a web developer who will design that according to what the BA will tell him. Put this information, put this. The BA will give him the information. The web developer will design the prototype.
Okay. So at the time of design, what do? If we already know the design here.
But at the design, right, we see, Shirisha, we are only showing a rough, say example, let's take the example of our building, right, apartment. He is showing you the prototype, but he has to build the apartment, right, where he has to put cement, stone and all those things and construct it. Since he showed the prototype, that means you're going to buy the prototype and sit?
No, it's a model, right?
It's just a model. Now we have to build the actual application, right?
No, so if we gather the requirements for the house, like, okay, we need the bedroom, bathroom, living, everything.
Correct.
We can just draw that on the paper or something, right? Or we can duplicate it.
Now, say example, the same apartment, I'm going to draw it in a paper. The floor plan, right? I'm going to show you. Will you understand seeing the floor plan, or will you understand if I show you a 3D image of you walking through the apartment and seeing the whole view of the apartment? Which you will understand better?
3D.
You as a layman will understand only when you see something, correct?
Yes.
Me as a developer will understand when you're talking about code, I will understand, I'll get the picture of what you want. But you as a layman who do not know the technicality of the things will understand only when you see it, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's how it is. If I want to sell a product which is not there in the market only, I'm telling that the product is going to come next month into the market. I'm going to give you it costs me $2,000, but I'm going to give you an offer for $1,500. Will you buy it without even seeing it?
No. But we are still at the requirement stage, right? We are just gathering the requirements.
Correct. Correct. We are just gathering, even for the apartment also. You and your husband decide that, we have to buy a 3-bedroom apartment. So you are going to be you are the stakeholder. You are saying, I want 3-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
Now, different builders will start approaching you. Correct?
Yes.
Saying that I have a 3-bedroom apartment, you can buy me. Now the builder will, when you go and meet a builder, he will show you the model.
Okay.
This is the entire layout of the apartments, and this is, you wanted a 3-bedroom. Here is the floor plan of how the 3-bedroom is going to look like, and here is the pictorial view of how your apartment inside after construction will look like.
Okay.
Right? So based on the requirement, he will just create a picture, so that in your mind, you will know how the apartment is going to look like, and if you are impressed, right, you will buy. Now, and there is another builder. He is saying that I don't have all these features. You see the floor plan, you like it, you buy it. Another builder is showing you how the apartment is looking like inside. Who would prefer?
Okay. How it looks inside? Yeah, we basically definitely
You
go for that.
You tend to slant towards that side because you know how seeing the floor plan, you don't know. But here he's showing you where the bulbs are, when you switch on, how the lighting is going to be.
Okay.
You will get that picture and you will start liking.
Yes. Yes.
Getting me, Srisha?
So designing comes. It's more than this. Prototype, right? Design means we have actually designed that product.
Yes, in the design phase, I am say for the apartment. I am just to start construction of the apartment. You know what all backend that has to happen. You should get your floor plan, right? And then there is a structural engineer who will say how much of cement combination with mud and what is the pipe, the steel rod thickness should be for this particular apartment. That is what the technical architect will do. He will say how much servers do we need, what coding language we have to use for this particular requirement, what architecture we have to go, how the flow should be, when I click on this, what database information should it bring. All those things happen at the back end. It's just not coding.
That is the design level.
That is the design phase. Then they start coding. That's in your build phase.
Yes, now I understand.
Okay?
Now I got it, yes.
Yeah.
So you told about the building. So what about coming to the data? So if it is like back-end testing, so will during the acceptance testing, will they be building the prototype of the data, how it looks at
No, what I will do, say example for the email application, right? I will say when you log in, I will show him that there will be 2 frames. Here you will have your emails. This is where you will have your inbox, sent item, trash, spam, junk mail, all these things. So the data that I'm showing here is hard-coded data. Like yesterday I showed you, right? I put the value in the application.
Yes.
Here we are not worried about the data. We are worried about where the data is going to be displayed. That's all. Okay.
When we see the floor plan, when we are buying a house, the majority of the portion, like the major changes, you can't change. That's what the builder say to you, right? So that's what the same thing happen here also in the software.
Yeah, there is a basic foundation, right? Say example, you are telling that 2 bedrooms are next to each other. You are saying, no, I want the bedroom on the other side. It cannot happen.
Right.
But
That's
you can at least say that the shelf that is there on the left side, right? No, I don't like it as per Vastu. I don't like it on the left side. I want it on the right side. Those changes you can make. Say in the kitchen, right? The cupboard, that the design of that cabin. I don't like the design of the cabin. I want a different design for that. Those things you can change, but you can't change the room or the basic foundation itself. You can't change, right?
Right. Yeah.
So for an email application, the basic foundation is you have to have an inbox, you have to have a send items, you have to have a junk mail, you have to have a settings. Those are foundation. But example, this customer was what do you say, the stakeholder. We are presenting that this side you will have all your links, and here is where your inbox information is shown. This is a generic way. Now the stakeholder is saying, no, I don't want it. I want it on the other side, where I want the inbox to be this side. Inbox to be this side, and the links to be this side. We will we'll try to explain to him that, on a generic note, that the inbox is always displayed on the right side. No, he said, no, I want it on the left side. Then we will go ahead with whatever he wants. But the basic concept and the basic foundation here is that inbox has to be displayed, right? We are not changing the basic foundation. We are only changing the display. Correct.
So yes. So here the web developer definitely has to sit there to change all these things, right?
Yes. The web developer will change this and display here, and we will resubmit it and show him how things are.
Yeah. So far, because the web developer does not come into the picture, because we were only assuming that, when we gather the requirements, we only gather the requirements and put it on a paper or the data. If there is no predefined format or the prototype. So now the developer came into the picture, and there is a prototype, and where we can understand and we can let them know.
Why? The reason is that there is one more caveat to this. What it is that when it is a new application, that is, you are developing Monica web email, right? That's not there in the market only. That time we will go for a prototype. If Monica email, we have already released one version of Monica email. Now we are going for release 2, where we are adding features. At that time we are not going to show him a prototype. An FRD document will explain to him in detail. Functional requirement document will have the screenshots. Yesterday I showed you the functional requirement document where you saw the screenshots, right? That will give him a better picture. But we are not going to, for every release, we are not going to have a web developer. Only when it is a new application that he doesn't know how the application looks like, that's when we are going to show him. Say you are buying a used apartment. Say, think about you are buying a used apartment.
No changes.
No changes, right? You
have to take as it is if you want to be smart.
Yeah, you are taking as it is, and then you are making, say you wanted to add one feature of building a text, you want to take out one study room and make it into a puja room. At that time, the contractor is not going to show you a model, a 3D view of how the puja room is going to look like, right? He's going to start construction. He will tell you that this is how I'm going to put all this information here, and he is going to start construction. Exactly the same here. When it is already in production, we are not going to use a web developer and create the whole site and show him the new features. We are going to use the FRD document and explain to him through the FRD document.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So only for the new application, we take a web developer.
What I understood in model, what we are doing for requirements, we are doing user acceptance testing. For functional specification, we are doing functional testing, and for high-level design, we are doing integration testing. But once the code will be ready, once the build will be ready, we are doing all these testings again, right, for the build.
Once the build is ready, you will start working with, as and when you build this ready, you will start working with the component testing. Here, right, at this point, you are only validating whether the functionality, you will validate the prototype, right? You will work with the prototype to see the functionality, the flow, and you are not going to raise any defect here. You are only navigating, you will see the requirement, you will go through the FRED document and see whether the flow in whatever flow that they have mentioned in the FRED document matches with the prototype. Right? So here you are not going to raise any defect. Tell them that see, we were supposed to get this screen, but I'm not getting this. So here it's just there's a support activity that you will be doing here. But the main testing will again start here only.
So we are just validating the document.
The only advantage is that, say example, when I clicked a link, I should have gone to a page A page. But unfortunately, it went to a B page. Now, if you have not validated that, that would have come down to the high-level design, your detailed design and code. They would have coded, when they click on this, they will be coding to go to the B page, correct?
Yes.
Those things can be captured at this point. That's why we do all these type of validation here. But the main testing is still done after the code is developed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Though we are validating at each and every phase, the main testing is still done here, right? Towards the end of the testing. Though, since we validated the number of issues, the key issues that we would have not identified in waterfall model can be eliminated here. But still, one issue of the product being released at the very last stage, and the customer or the stakeholder will not get any income till the complete product is designed, is still a drawback in this particular.
Yeah.
Because we are still testing after the complete product is developed, and the testing is done at the very last end. Though we are validating everything, we are fine. We are removing the what do you say, the issue of identifying or getting a key defect or key issue at the testing. We are validating at every phase so that we are removing those issues, right? Discussing was about the V model, and we were discussing how a V model is different from, or how we differentiate between a V model and a waterfall model, right? Now, looking at the V model and the waterfall model, we saw that in the waterfall model, one testing is done at the very last stage. Similarly, but in the V model also, testing is done at the very last stage. But what is the advantage of V model compared to waterfall model is that every phase we do testing. So for requirement phase, we do acceptance testing. For functional specifications, we do functional or system testing. For high-level design, we do integration testing. So each and every phase in our software development life cycle, testing is conducted. But the overall testing is still done at after the code is completed. So what happens? The whole system or the whole application is released only after the complete application is designed and developed. So same like waterfall model, the stakeholder will be waiting for the entire period without any income, right? Say example from Jan, the release is in September. The whole period, the stakeholder will wait without any income, right? If it's we are designing an email application, right? Now, unless and until the whole system is developed, it takes say 8 to 9 months to develop. Once the system is completely developed, that's when the product is released. Now, everyone, right? Everyone in this in this world, everyone in this industry is more worried about this portion, right? Correct? Worried about this, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is-
No?
In this world, yes, yes.
Yes. So when you wanted to say come out with a product,
Okay.
and you will see how fast you can start earning from it, correct?
Yeah.
Rather than you will wait for a year, the product takes a year to develop. Are you going to wait for a year investing onto this and then get the see the income coming, or you want it faster?
I want it faster, but without developing the product fully, how can we earn? How can we release it into the market? And
Correct. Without developing the product full, we can't release into the market. I do agree. 100% I agree on that. Now, that is what the V model is doing, right? Correct? Correct?
yeah, in here we have to test it at the end, like when we get to the code stage. Yeah.
Yeah, we are testing the complete application after the code is developed. So we wait for the whole product to be developed and then we start testing. Now the advantage of V model was that since we introduced testing in between, in each and every phase, the number of defects or the issues that would have identified or that would be identified here, and if there is a mistake in the requirement, instead of identifying it at this stage, you will identify at this stage. So that will enable you to identify critical issues at the very, yeah, perfect. Now, your product, are you ready to wait for a year? Investing, say, example, $1 million you're going to invest. Okay. And you're going to wait for a year without income. Will you be happy on that?
No, I want to make money as soon as possible.
Start. I want to see the dollar, correct?
I want to, yes.
As soon as you start, you want to see the income coming out rather than waiting for a year or 6 months and then start seeing the money coming in. You would prefer as soon as possible, correct?
Yeah, the shortest way possible, yes.
Yes. So will this model help you out to start seeing the income as fast as possible?
Yes, I think because every stage that you can do testing. So if there is a major error, you can recognize rather than you waiting till every development's done and then find out the major error. You can find in the middle of the way any major errors and correct, and then do the final testing. If any like a simple errors, you can correct at the end.
Okay, right? But the project is, say example, the project is started in Jan. The project is supposed to finish in September. Okay, it's almost say 9 months.
Yeah.
Now with this model, are you going to release faster? Which is I'm going to shorten and say that no, we're going to come in March. Can we do that in this release?
No, I don't think so because the time consumed will be same.
Time consumed will be the same, but fortunately, since we introduce testing at every phase, the issues that you can identify, right? The critical issues that you would identify, at a very early stage than at a later stage, correct? But still your product is going to take 9 months. So your investment is still going to wait for 9 months, correct? Which you would not prefer, right? Which you would not prefer. You want it faster. So this model, right, will not help you to bring the product faster into the market. This model will help you to identify issues at a very early stage rather than at the later stage. Good. Excellent. We are able to identify critical issues, gaps, everything at a very early stage rather than at this stage. But still my product is going to take 9 months. So this again became a bottleneck, where people wanted to see income coming as fast as possible, but this model is not supporting them in this aspect. So what we did, we moved from V model into another model, right? We moved from V model into the next model called iterative model.